These last 3 worlds have a ton of different gimmicks that could either be extremely difficult for this challenge or really easy. But the world you think will be the easiest was probably actually the hardest. The first of the last 3 is Jurassic Marsh, of course. This world's gimmick is dinosaurs. Now, in theory, these dinosaurs are going to make this challenge very difficult since every dinosaur has its own way of getting zombies down the lane as fast as possible. With the very slow setup we have in the beginning, later levels can easily murk us. With the Velociraptor being the first dinosaur, I immediately realized putting my Snake Lily 3 tiles up was a huge mistake, with the raptor kicking the zombie directly in front of him. After just 2 raptors showing up, we immediately went down, and we lost every lawnmower except for 1. But we were back in the game after a few plant foods going off. It was so close, but we fell to the raptors' drop kicks. On our next attempt though, our defense didn't fall apart immediately and we were able to have multiple plant food for the final wave, so it was easy to clean up. I don't know if I just forgot, but I placed my Snake Lily up 3 tiles again, so yeah, we're gonna lose every lawnmower, but yeah. The next attempt I learned and put him exactly 1 tile back, and just like that we barely took out every zombie and finished the last wave off with plant food. The next level has the Stegosaurus and the Velociraptors, which this might make sense because it's in a later level, but the Stegosaurus I think is way worse than the Raptor because he gathers multiple of them and throws them in like random directions, it seems. Which, if you couldn't guess, is terrible for our poor Snake Lilies. RNG is probably the one word that could keep Snake Lily up at night, I'm not gonna lie. We lost 2 lawnmowers, but we were holding on, barely killing zombies and all. But we did manage to win somehow. Day 10 has the pterosaurs, which honestly I don't know how they weren't a crazy problem. We had no way to deal with them, but our plants like never on the same row that they were doing their thing on, so that was kind of sick, I guess. So other than their coding being in this level, level 6 and 10 were much of the same. Level 11, however, immediately took out 2 of my plants and left this one in the middle. No pterosaurs came in the middle through the entire game though, so I just placed a conga line of Snake Lilies that would turn all the zombies that they brought to the first tile as they walked past. I guess this is how it's meant to be. Day 12 we couldn't lose more than 6 plants. They didn't throw a ton of zombies at us and we had plant food to clean it up though. Day 15 we had to protect these 2 primal walnuts. And this level wasn't hard at all, but I lost. I lost because this raptor pulled the same double move on me twice and kicked the zombies directly past the Zoidbean pod. The next attempt, he still did it once, but I put a Zoidbean and Snake Lily back to take care of him. Then the T-Rex came, which just makes every zombie extremely fast, and our Snake Lily's pea-brain can't comprehend that someone can run faster than a jog since he's used to killing the zombies from The Walking Dead. Once we actually had a solid defense, the squad of gold medalist sprinters got crazy countered by plant food. Next, we have to produce 2000 sun, which is very easy, especially wet. After that, I just built a wall of shrooms to defend off the horde, yeah. It was also nice to see my plan your defense level strategies actually working. Not to mention they gave us a crazy amount of sun, but by far the worst dinosaur in concept for this challenge is the Ankylosaurus. The reason I say in concept is because he didn't really make us lose like at all, but you cannot tell me if you looked at what each dinosaur did, you wouldn't say that he would be the worst for this challenge. Anyway, we got extremely lucky on this level. First, Snake Lily actually hit a zombie boosted by the T-Rex. Then, they gave us all the plant food in the world to deal with the zombies they push at us. Next, we couldn't plan on Dave's mold colonies. This is the first time I actually dreaded a level with Dave's mold in it. With the mold and the Ankylosauruses, the way to take out a zombie that gets pushed is to rely on our Snake Lily to turn them within a split second, which we all know isn't happening with his pea brain. But the biggest problems were the pterosaurs. Again. So after a couple of times of my brains getting eaten, I figured out the exact patterns of each pterosaur would come to each lane, so I was able to have my 2 Snake Lilies survive. Another plan your defense level is what follows, and this is very simple. It is a barrage of Ankylosaurus. But since we start out with plant food it's just 1 flag, it is very peasy easy. Day 30 came down to the very end and we had no more plant food to deal with the Gargantuar, so our Snake Lilies just endlessly unloaded into him until we got eaten. On our next go around, I actually managed to keep my lawnmower and had a plant food for him, and just like that, that is all for Jurassic Marsh. I'm honestly kind of surprised there wasn't a single level that I couldn't complete or even had to use sun shrooms for, but yeah. I always think Big Wave Beach is the hardest world for any challenge, just because of the crazy unfair zombies in the world. It's actually insane. The water is a pretty big issue, but just because of this guy right here. Day 4 is very easy, nothing too crazy yet. At least they're letting me get some good wins in before they demolish everything. Day 5 is pretty much the same other than the snorkel zombie, which can be pretty annoying, but it's not even the zombie itself that annoys me, it's kind of the snake lily. If the water is right in front of the snake lily, he won't even shoot when the snorkel zombie emerges, it just sits there. It's not even that it's on cooldown or anything, it says its range is 3 tiles, but there are multiple times when snake lily shoots when the zombie is like a tile in front for like no reason at all. Like, it is so inconsistent, bro, I swear. Next is Dave's mole colonies, and it actually kind of helps us since they're all spread out, so we can put snake lilies on the first tile to take care of the snorkel zombies. Day 9 was also a 4 flag sub 10-minute level, so yeah, we're kind of cooked. Michael! Just like the snorkel zombies, as long as the snake lilies aren't right beside the water, they are able to take out the surfer zombies before they can either plant on the ground or emerge from the water. Next was a plan your defense level, and this one went really smoothly. Like, we didn't lose a single plant, and each wave just got taken out immediately, and we had so many zomboids getting created, like I could just... We had to produce 2,000 sun, but there weren't very many zombies, so probably due to the fact that the water came all the way up to the lawnmowers. But yeah, we had to use some plant food on the shrooms, but we had lawnmowers to safely do so. Now, you might just think I was hating on Snake Lily earlier, and I wasn't really. It's kind of like a hate the game, not the player type of thing, but you cannot look at this clip and say Snake Lily is in the right here, bro. Like, genuinely, you cannot say. Look, like a solid 2 seconds of him just staring at the snorkel zombie, like he wasn't even about to go into the animation of hypnotizing him or anything. Like, no gears are moving inside of there, man. The next time a surfer just kamikazes into the mine, then finally, after a lot of sweating and agony, Snake Lily did not embarrass himself and actually locked in. Finally, the infamous octo zombies appear, and they're about to okay, so maybe later in the world they will be worse. So day 20, we are already here. Octodad was being a nuisance all game, and the last wave we lost 2 llamas and a bunch of plants covered with octopi. But then, after all that chaos, the last wave was literally just 4 zombies and 1 octo. Now, maybe my zombies just took out everyone off screen, but I doubt it. Day 22 had the other dum-dum of this world, the fisherman, which he wasn't that bad on, at least on this level. Our snake lilies can one-shot him if they are ever 3 tiles away from him, so that's good to note. But really, it's just the fact that Snake Lily's plant food is just so much better than call powers, it's kind of crazy. Day 23 was protecting the banana launchers, which is both a blessing and a curse, since we don't need plant food to take out the gargs, but he can get taken out by the fisherman. But we also have to keep them alive, so naturally I died quite a bit of times trying to protect these chums. But in one attempt, we dealt with all of the fishermen flawlessly and had a lawnmower to take care of the last wave. Day 25 is what I'm talking about. We have to defeat 10 zombies in 5 seconds. It doesn't even really matter, but we can't spend too much sun. And it is the fisherman zombie and octo zombie galore. Like my first attempt, I lost 2 lawnmowers immediately, and then the first octo zombie kinda just wrapped up all my plants in some freaky tentacle shit. We did end up making it to the end, kind of, if you can call this making it. The next attempt also wasn't looking too hot at all, but somehow we actually made it to the end, and after all of our lawnmowers were gone, we were relying on 1 snake lily to save us. You probably thought it wasn't going to shoot. Yeah, me either. Day 27 seems pretty difficult because the water is all the way up to the lawnmowers, but it was actually really easy. Same with day 28, which I remember struggling on a lot in the Only Hypno challenge, but here, very simple. Finally, day 29 was also very easy. It was only 1 flag, so yeah, very easy to end quickly. Now the final level, and by far the hardest for this challenge, basically we have to protect these guacodiles, and when the fisherman zombie pulls on them, they charge down the lane and it counts as them being eaten. Now with that being said, how do I genuinely do this with only these 2 plants? The fisherman's line goes straight through the zomboids, and by the 3rd flag, every lane has at least 1 fisherman on it. It wouldn't have been a problem if the water was up because they would just pull on the lily pads, but the flag hits and all the water goes away and emerges a full column of fishermen. I don't even think we would have the sun or the cooldowns at that point to have at least 1 plant in front of every guacodile, let alone beat the level with it. Why would they use Guacodile's bravery and willingness to sacrifice himself to take out zombies like this? If you can't see where this is going, this level is pretty much impossible with just Zoe Bean and Snake Lily and no sun producers. So Yeah, Big Wave Beach kind of got my hopes up. I thought I was going to beat it without an impossible level, so that's great. Now for the world that might surprise a lot of you, Modern Day. Now Modern Day has always been kind of easy peasy in my mind. Like when I think of the hardest worlds, it probably isn't even in my top 3. But Day 5 had a few zombies from Lost City and Neon Mixtape Tour, and then a Lost City Gargantuar. I don't know what the point of having different world Gargantuars in here are when there's only like 2 guards that have a different attack than the other Gargantuars. Like why not have every Gargantuar have a different attack? Wouldn't that be pretty sick? Day 6 we had to produce a crazy amount of sun, and I don't even know how we stalled the game out this long. I thought for sure this was the second try. Thank goodness for the Lost City imp tents, I guess. Day 7 of course had octo zombies. Of course. I thought we were going to squeak this one out, but then the final wave came with like 3 octos and they just came and beat me up. But it seemed like whatever I did, I couldn't shake off the octo zombies. At least in Big Wave Beach, the octo zombies usually went for all the lily pads first, but here it's literally just our snake lilies getting tentacled. So I did with Sunshrooms and basically acted as the lily pads, just taking all the tentacles for us. Thank you, Sunshrooms. So day 7 only possible with Sunshrooms, or maybe really good luck, I don't know. Day 10 had ferret zombies, which I can't catch a break, bro. Apparently my Zomboid didn't get the memo about attacking them either. Neither did Snake Lily. I got later in the level, but it didn't matter. I lost everything. And my lawnmowers don't do anything since they just spawn ferrets after death. I mean, just look at the screen and tell me how I could take out this wave with just 4 Snake Lilies and 2 plant food, bro. Like, ha. Day 11 did have the piano zombies and the pusher robots that we have a hard time dealing with. I will take anything over those zombies from last level. Day 12 was pretty close because of the dinosaurs in the beginning, but other than that, it was pretty smooth sailing. Day 15 was protecting 2 prime walnuts again, and I felt bad for them because every single try I did, they were chewed past coming back. Well, at least for later strategies. At first, I actually tried to protect them by plant fooding them and stuff, but that didn't work out for me, so next I just let them get chewed like crazy so Snake Lily can have the plant food. Day 17's main thing was a lot of arcade zombies, but it was very easy. Day 18 was also straightforward with just bulls and balloons. Day 20 had sun tiles all the way up the lawn. Like, I don't know what they expect me to do with this. Then I don't even remember what the level it was. It was either like 21 through 23, but I forgot to record it, so here's the ad I watched after I beat it as proof. Now on day 24, it was time to see how the Snake Lily would fare against the charging football zombies. Honestly, what did I expect? I then proceeded to lose every lane after that, and it came down to a final 1v1. As soon as my Snake Lily got off cooldown, I placed him down and... okay, he kind of redeemed himself. Day 26, we were having a rough time against the football zombies and the robots. My attempts came nowhere near the final wave, and I was hopeless the entire time. Not to mention, not a ton of plant food and Snake Lily also didn't help us that much. So after some tries, there isn't much I can change up with only 2 plants on the roster and a couple of plant food. So yeah, this one's impossible too. Until they fix Snake Lily's attack and his like brain, yeah.
3:28 a.m.
The last day for the challenge is also a nightmare since Snake Lily can't react to the football zombie fast enough and we have to sacrifice our Zoidbeam pod for the football zombies. Just too much stuff for 2 Snake Lilies that have to stop any zombie from getting 3 tiles down the lawn. So I use some producers, but how many impossible levels does this challenge have? I would say around 9, I'm pretty sure. We had at least 1 in Pirate Seas, 2 in the Wild West, 1 in Dark Ages, 1 in Neon Mixtape, 1 in Big Wave Beach, and most of all, 3 in Modern Day. I know that sounds like quite a bit, but for 2 plants completing the entire game, I'd say that's pretty good. I mean, there are hundreds of levels, so only 9 being impossible for 2 plants, I mean, that's solid. This challenge has made me hate Snake Lily though, and I never want to use him again just because if he had a faster reaction time, we could have beaten like 5 more levels. I know I didn't give Zoidbeam Pod a proper spotlight for this challenge, even though he was the first plant to be able to do this, but at least I'm not hating on him like I am Snake Lily, so he can take what he can get. Also, I've seen some good challenge suggestions in the comments, and I want y'all to keep them coming. One of y'all's comments will probably be the next video, so yeah, just start thinking of stuff. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the challenge, because I did. Next challenge in a few. See ya.